Of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Also streaming on the Odyssey app. Go get that now, AUDACY. And you'll be able to check out this show, all the other great shows available to you, not just on our station, but from around the planet, like our friend Stu Myrick show. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Great stuff. Promise you, you get that, and Phil Stamper will buy everybody breakfast. It's going to be fantastic. So get that Odyssey app right now. And, of course, we're also streaming on YouTube, X, and Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show and at Mark Hoke Show on X. So join us wherever you are. Hop in the fun. And I'm going to bring the boys in right now. First, the guy who is going to be shelling out some money because, well, he was the last one here. So breakfast is on Phil. Phil Stamper, everybody.
None of us were here yet.
Liar. But
toast. Y'all getting toast.
Yeah, that's fine. But we got Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver joining us, and we also want to get this guy in here, Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. What's up, Stu?
Phil, you don't have to buy me breakfast. It might be cold by the time you get it here.
Fair.
Oh no, he's got to hop onto Grubhub and send us all food.
Or I'll give it to you the next time I'm in Texas and you come to a Wrestling Revolver event.
Okay. Deal.
All right.
And then I'll buy you barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Now we're talking.
Okay. That means I'm definitely coming down for All In. And then, of course, from ad-free shows, that channel where you can see some of the greats in pro wrestling doing their podcasts, it is Coach Rosey, Josh Rosenbaum.
I'm intermittent fasting, so I don't need breakfast. I don't eat until 2, so thank you for the offer.
Well, fair enough. How's your foot, by the way?
It hurts, but it doesn't hurt having 6 weeks off of work.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, that'll be relaxing.
Well, Phil blew out his knee. Coach messed up his foot. Stu had pneumonia, so looks like I'm next. And I'm telling you, I may be headed to the hospital soon. So, golly gee whiz, what's going on, guys? We got to cut this out.
It's that fast living.
Yeah, I suppose. The world of pro wrestling just never stops. And I thought it was going to stop after Sunday because we had the benefit for Bay, and I just wanted to talk about that real quick. How many of you guys actually did get to watch that? Did you guys tune in at all?
Unfortunately, I couldn't. I was actually doing the Rhodes Wrestling Association show the very same night. I did plug it on my show the week before. Told people, if you're in Las Vegas, go to it. If you're not, Triller TV. I saw several recaps of it, saw some pictures of it. It would look fantastic. And it's so good to see Chris walking around. It was, just heartwarming and to see everybody, come together for him. That's it does your heart good to see that.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing night, Phil. I jam-packed in there at the Silverton, and to see everybody that showed up, even Disco Inferno, for his brief appearance. We certainly appreciated everybody coming out for that. It was pretty amazing. I mean, so many different superstars from all over pro wrestling were there, and can't say enough what Joe DeFalco put together with that, and very happy for Chris. I know that was a great moment for him, but Phil, just once again, an unbelievable event in pro wrestling.
I'm so glad it just happened, and you could see the emotion on Chris's face. I wasn't able to watch the event live, but like I watched most of my wrestling, I was watching on X, and just you knew how much he appreciated it and how he felt it, and that I think a lot of the guys appreciated just being able to be there, and gals, I shouldn't say just guys, to be a part of it because it was such a cool moment.
Yeah, we really did have a great time, and it was amazing just going down the line and boy, when Cross got in there, it was in there for the meet and greet, and he and Scarlett were just had a line out the door to say hi to him. It was nuts. And Swerve and AJ Francis and Hammerstone and Frankie Kazarian and so many others were there. Swerve unfortunately couldn't go. Brian Cage was hurt too, which kind of sucked. But it was just a phenomenal night. And congratulations to everybody who was involved. And you can still help Chris out, I'm sure. So, the GoFundMe's up. I would imagine Future Stars of Wrestling still has their page up as well. So check it out. But yeah, it was a hell of a night. So thank you, Las Vegas, for turning out. We certainly do appreciate it. I missed you, Coach Rosey. I know you had to do the surgery on your foot, but
yeah, no, it's what makes wrestling special, because when tragedy hits, it doesn't really matter what part of the world or what part of the country, whether you like the guy or don't like the guy, we come together as a community and help our own. So to see that, it was touching.
Yeah, and buying scoops in the chat box, and he was of course doing photography at the event and said it's hard to shoot through tears, by the way. And yeah, it was very emotional to say the least. So, but I saw some of the pics Scoop did. Congratulations, great job, buddy. Great job. So after the benefit was over, and I'm thinking, we're just gonna have a kind of a easy lead up week to WrestleMania, and we're getting ready for Dynasty, and this shouldn't be too bad. Well, all hell breaks loose this week, especially early. And the first thing I wanted to hit, the more serious one, was what happened in TNA, guys. As TNA just did a purge, cleared out more people, including Gail Kim, who has been on and off with TNA since 2005. Changed the creative team. I mean, just kind of a bloodbath over there, fellas, and not a lot of positive reaction. People stunned that Gail Kim was let go. Phil, what were your thoughts when you saw this story break?
Surprise. Well, at first that immediate shock of the surprise, and then you have that moment of going, it seems like there's been this larger reorganization in play now for like a year of Anthem and TNA. So I kind of in retrospect, I was like, all right, I don't see this as a slight towards Gail Kim as a person. I think it's an administrative reorganization. It sucks. Like it I'm sure, she didn't wake up going, oh, this is what my day's going to be like. And so I feel though pretty secure that she's going to land somewhere pretty secure.
Coach, I know you're close to a lot of people in the industry too. What were you hearing about this when Gail Kim was let go?
Nothing specific, but I think it's all leading up to them trying to get a television deal. I think they want to get on TV. I think they have to, and by no means is Gail Kim, when I say trim the fat, she's a legend, a Hall of Famer. But if they're going to be a major player in this wrestling business with a big business like Anthem owning them, there's going to have to be moves that are made like this for the business. And unfortunately, fortunately, they're doing great. But with that comes some decisions that come with the business of wrestling. If you're going to grow, there's different kinds of expenses now that are going to be coming up on the horizon. They're going to LA, they're going to Vegas, or they have to pay trans for all these people. They're growing. It's TNA's exciting.
Stu, I got a question for you though.
Mm-hmm.
I saw James Storm made a comment that said he wouldn't be surprised if WWE bought TNA. And this was something that I was thinking about when this whole thing started. Was TNA was starting to really get a foothold. They're getting big crowds. And then WWE says, hey, let's do this. And TNA just jumped right into it. Stu, do you think TNA could possibly be getting swallowed up? And this whole thing with Gail Kim, of course, she did not have a good relationship with some people at WWE from what happened a while back.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of feeling maybe there's some WWE influence and TNA could be getting incorporated, shall we say?
it's not outside the realm of possibility. I mean, you look at the individuals that they let go, and they let go, Ari Schurner, who's been with Anthem practically from the beginning. Of course, Gail Kim, several others, and it wasn't like lower, it wasn't the foot soldiers, so to speak. It was all in management. Now I get the TV deal, and it seems like every time you turn around, they're trying to find a new TV deal, because Access TV, God bless them, Access TV isn't on a lot of systems. It's not. I have YouTube TV here, and it's not on YouTube TV. So they need a, as well as they are doing with the wrestling shows, they need a bigger platform. Now, where that is, that your guess is as good as mine. But with this whole, this relationship, as you say, between WWE and TNA, it wouldn't shock me to, sometime here WWE has bought TNA.
And Phil, this kind of goes along the line with Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. It's not 100% necessarily for the brand, but you have the video library and a lot of interesting assets there that they could pick up. I just feel like something is brewing back behind the scenes that we don't know about.
I mean, it makes sense if they're shopping around for another television network, and that, I think, is part of the struggle. I'm extrapolating a little bit, but Anthem owns part of Access. Scott D'Amore owned a part of Access. Anthem owns TNA. So there's like this whole big web of connection. But you're absolutely right. The fact that they're not on enough channels, or not on enough I don't know what I would say. Was it platforms, cable systems, satellite systems that showcase Access? So it's like, yeah, they have to find other ways to get out there. It was funny because a few years ago they were on Twitch, and they were pulling some actually strong numbers. I remember, I even think there was one time they had more Twitch viewers than they had ratings on TV. And it's like, okay, so there's a strength there to the product. And when the pandemic started, I was watching all WWE, AEW, and TNA, and I thought TNA had the best wrestling product of all three of them at the time. And now I think they're doing even better than AEW's.
Yes.
And so I want to see them catapult to a better platform, if that's the idea. If it's to go to the WWE, that's also not bad. And WWE has such this powerful connections in broadcasting. I mean, because they have Evolve on Tubi, they have Netflix, they're on all the stations and channels and accesses that they have. Okay, let's get TNA, if they absorb TNA, and put them here, because then there would have plenty of spaces and places where they could insert TNA talent.
Yeah, but Coach, what do they do with TNA? Let's just say they buy it. And
do they want to get?
You already got it.
Do they want to get in the nostalgia game? I heard that they were thinking about doing a reboot of WCW. I mean, nostalgia is big, but it's also just swallowing your competition. That's business. And just think back to, I think it's maybe just been a year and a half since they rebranded to TNA. When we sit back 20 or 30 years from now, we're going to think to ourselves, damn, in about a year and a half, they went from having a show at the Palms with Okada and Will Ospreay to kick off TNA to now having pay-per-views in Los Angeles, having the unfortunate opportunity to have to trim some people. This is what this is what the wrestling business is doing. It's huge now. It's back, and it's exciting. But you're right. It is, to me, it goes WWE, TNA, AEW. I mean, the whole family of WWE. But TNA is definitely overtaken AEW when it comes to quality of everything.
Wow, that is a statement. But wow, so we'll see what happens with TNA as this goes forward. We'll see if there's going to be more changes. I mean, you talked about that night here in Las Vegas, and some of the main players that were there that night are gone. Scott D'Amore, Gail Kim, and so many others. So it'll be fascinating to see where this twist and turn goes with AEW. When we come back, speaking of Las Vegas, boys, I don't know if WWE is real happy with what's going on in Las Vegas right now. We have some interesting ticket sales numbers and for all the events that are coming up. So stick around. We're going to talk about it and break it down when we come back. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Coach Rosey, and me, Mark Hoke, on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back.
Here's how easy it is to get the yard you deserve with Moon Valley Nurseries. Our job is to design. Your job is to kick back. Our job is to deliver. Your job is to relax. Our job is to plant. Your job is to enjoy. Moon Valley Nurseries does it all, making it easy for you to get the yard you've always wanted. Guaranteed. Get 50% off plus free planting. Visit moonvalleynurseries.com.
By July of 2025, nearly all Nevada employers will be required to offer a retirement plan to all employees. As a business, how do you even start? Just call the Vegas Chamber to get plugged into the Chamber's 401k plan. It's simple to administer, provides great options, and will quickly help your business meet Nevada's new retirement plan mandate. Visit vegaschamber.com to get plugged in.
Sponsored by the Vegas Chamber in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Amazing deals are happening now during SpringFest at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And get 5 bags of Stay Green Premium Color 2 cubic foot mulch for just $10. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items. Excludes Hawaii. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And let's return to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN, 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Thanks for being with us today. We certainly do appreciate it. Maybe some other people don't, but we do. Thank you. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Coach Rosey, joining me in the house here on KDAWN. Greatly appreciate them being here. But I'll tell you what, guys, I don't know who all's coming out for WrestleMania, and I think a lot of peeps here are staying home. This is getting pretty crazy.
That includes me.
Oh, I need to talk to you too about that. But anyway, that's an off-screen conversation.
Got you.
But the ticket sales, guys, are just not there. And not just for WrestleMania, but for a lot of things going on with WrestleMania here in WWE. last report that I saw, we've got about around 11,000 tickets still available for WrestleMania. Pricing right now, they've actually got some tickets available around, some really bad seats for like $200. And if you guys remember right, they started around 400 or 500 when this whole thing got rolling. But they're not selling this thing out. 51,000 seat setup, and they're short there. And I thought, well, just for fun, let's take a look around, shall we? Let's take a look, see what else is going on. Ton of tickets still available for Monday Night Raw. I mean, I see right now 9 sections, 10 that are full, and still a bunch of tickets for Monday Night Raw. And the Hall of Fame, which, by the way, added the Immortal match, which is personally, I think, is a gimmick. And you know why? Because there's a ton of tickets for that still available too over at the Fontainebleau.
How much?
Minimum ticket to go to the Hall of Fame ceremony, $225. Minimum. Over 1,000 for the really big seats. WWE World, not exactly the cheapest ticket there to get in. You know, you can do some dailies if you want, around $55 or something like that. But, guys, this is turning into, I'd have to say, a little bit of a disappointment. Pricing, it's on Easter weekend, and I know people that have told me that it's Easter weekend. I can't do it. And some people just said, you know what? I'm not excited about this WrestleMania. Coach, I'll give you the first shot at this because I know you're going to be up here working at WrestleCon. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm excited. I'm enjoying the stories going into it. Obviously, I won't be able to go to all the events and all that. I don't even think I'll make it into the actual WrestleMania show. I might rather watch it at the Circa myself. But, just to be there, the vibe, it's going to be cool. There's going to be people, cosplaying up and down the strip. There's going to be, wild video people. It's going to be a scene out there. And that's what WrestleMania week's all about. And it's not just, it's the end for John Cena too. For me, that's going to be big. It's his last WrestleMania match.
Stu, as Scoop in the chat box, I'll just say I can't read what he said, but he said the prices are too high, and you can see it in the chat box if you're in our live stream. But Stu, man, this is getting a little bit scary for WWE, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it is. It's starting to feel so. You take WrestleMania weekend, which I've covered many of them on site. You've been there as well. They're trying to copy the model that the NFL has with Super Bowl week, and I've done 9 of those, where you have events throughout the week going up to, in NFL's case, to Super Bowl Sunday. And so WWE is trying to do the same thing, and they're trying to monetize everything, just like the NFL. It always floored me. So on Super Bowl week, the opening day / media day, they would charge fans like $10-20 to go into this arena and watch 5,000 guys like me trying to get interviews. And they make real good coin off that. The problem is, the flights. I checked, so flying from Austin to Las Vegas on that weekend would have cost me over $350, which usually at that ticket I can usually get around 2. Hotel prices are probably going to go up. And I'll be honest, the card so far, Cody and Cena, which we've seen 2 weeks of basically them trading promos. And it's been basically the same thing both weeks. I guess we now know that the triple threat with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk will be the main event on night 1. But we don't know much as far as the rest of the card. Now, we got 4 weeks, 3 weeks, I guess now. But there's just not a lot of there's nothing that says, like, like last year, everybody was looking to Cody versus Roman.
Yeah, it sold out almost immediately, the whole weekend.
And there's nothing like that right now. And then you add the things like you mentioned, $50 to go into WWE World. That used to be free when it was access. Now you're going to charge people to go in basically so they can look at stuff and maybe go buy something at the superstore. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It feels like, it just feels like there's no oomph to this. And inducting a match into the Hall of Fame.
Ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous.
That's the dumbest thing I've heard. Look, I get it. It's whatever I guess Triple H wants, and before him, whatever Vince wanted. But come on, a match, you can't maybe take a little time to, induct people that weren't, prior to WWE, the pioneers.
Well, and we know why they're doing this. You're doing this immortal match thing because you're not selling tickets to the Hall of Fame ceremony. So, they couldn't shut up about, hey, Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin are going to be there. So, now let's see if we can add them in and bolster some ticket sales. It's ridiculous. And Phil, here's another one for you. The meet and greets. Are you ready for these prices? Brace yourself.
I'm ready.
Meet and greet for Bianca Belair, $200. Well, I'll just round it up. $300. Rey Mysterio and Charlotte Flair, $500. Braun Breaker and Liv Morgan, $500. The Usos, $600. Damian Priest and Tiffany Stratton, $500. Are you kidding me?
And is it one-on-one or is it like a group meet and greet?
I think it's a group meet and
like
greet.
Stand in line and say hi, meet and greet.
That's crazy. I don't care if you're having dinner with them. That's ridiculous. I mean, John Cena's that $25,000 intimate dinner available to him. $8,500 to hang out with Triple H before the Hall of Fame ceremony. I mean, come on. Have these guys completely forgotten about who pays their bills?
Well, I think it's like what Stu said. They see the model of the NFL. I mean, I'm old enough where when the former Washington team used my college campus for training, and it was free. You could come, you could watch, whatever. And they were like, well, to quote them, this is a dumb model. They built their own building. They built their own practice stadium that was falling down around their ears. And that, charged $15 for a bottle of water, and so they're seeing that model and it being successful. They have seen some success when they've done versions of what they're doing now. This is a very high priced version of things that they have done, but it's like they want the money, and what's the tolerance for the spending of it? And to be honest, though, they might still have those tickets available. How many people have purchased them? And are they trying to give the best experience to those people who have purchased them so far to try to go like, hey, look, this will be worth it? I also agree it's Easter weekend. Not the best weekend to be traveling if you're also dealing with family stuff. Everybody's wondering what the hell is going on with the economy. And so like, oh yeah, let's plan a multi-$1,000 trip to Vegas to do all of this too. And so I do agree with you. Like, they need to be a little bit more mindful of the fan base and where they're coming from. All right, so you've sold some of these tickets so far. Okay, maybe create a new tier experience since you aren't apparently meeting that threshold.
Yeah, just to plug WrestleCon, you can get Francine for $30.
Right,
it's a combo, and you can get a Coco Beware for $40. So if you want to come down to WrestleCon, we've got everything in your price range for Vegas.
There you go.
WrestleCon's always a fantastic event. I will say this: I do wonder, because I've questioned this since it happened. I do wonder what turning John Cena heel has done to ticket prices. Because I'll be honest, a heel John Cena against Cody, that doesn't intrigue me. I couldn't care less because John Cena has used the same excuse that every heel has used for the heel turn, blames the fans. It bores me. Now, if you had John Cena as John Cena, hustle, loyalty, respect against Cody, I was interested in that. You turn him heel, couldn't care less.
What about John Cena against Gunther? What about that? That wouldn't have. That might have sold some serious.
That would have done
tickets.
no. That would have done even worse.
Wow. Okay.
Look, as
Fair
much
enough.
as I hate to say it, Cody's the bigger star.
Well, yeah,
So
I'll agree
John
with that.
Cena versus Gunther. Yeah.
I mean, I thought Gunther was where they were gonna go, like rah USA John Cena versus Gunther. Like I thought that's really the direction that they were gonna head.
What I'm saying is they didn't need to turn John Cena heel, and it's because The Rock got in the way. And I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks on my show. The Rock is in the way. The Rock needs to go make movies and stay away from WrestleMania because he has messed it up. And now you see the result.
Well, he nearly wrecked it last year. I mean, they lucked. I mean, you got to say they lucked out last year. They managed to pull a rabbit out of a hat, but that situation could have gone really sideways had they not just come up with a Hail Mary on their booking.
And I think they're seeing what happens now.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. But
yeah, and Coach, you've been up here in Vegas a ton of times, and and recently too. And I got to blame the city a little bit. It's gotten expensive. The casinos are charging way too much for everything. You talked about Phil. You talked about $15 water bottles. That's commonplace down on the Strip, and Las Vegas is just jammed prices up like crazy. And then you pile that on to, look, if I want to, I'm a parent, parents and want to take 2 kids to WrestleMania weekend. Good Lord, how much money do you need? If you really want to do the experience. I mean, if you just think about SmackDown, NXT Stand and Deliver, the 2 nights of WrestleMania and Raw, man, you're out thousands and thousands of dollars to do this, and then you gotta, you got expensive restaurants, expensive hotels, expensive amenities. This is tough, Coach.
Yeah. You're talking me out of coming. Because the pay isn't worth it. Yeah, it's going to be a case study. Yeah. Are they going to continue with bringing The Rock in? Stu, I never thought about that, but that did kind of open my eyes a little bit. Like, get the hell out of the way, Rock. Yeah, this is going to be a case study in wrestling, and it's going to be fun to discuss in a couple of years.
I will also say this. I'll also say this. This isn't WWE. Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. That is a WrestleMania tradition. My first Ring of Honor event was Supercard of Honor 2016 in Dallas during WrestleMania weekend. Met Kerry Silkin in 2017 in Florida. Become a dear friend. That was one of the things I really looked forward to if I went to WrestleMania weekend. Now it's not on WrestleMania weekend. They're doing it in May in Atlantic City. Now, that's not attached to WWE, but I got to imagine that might dissuade a few fans from making that trip. Because there was WrestleMania 35 in New York at MetLife. I went just because of G1 Supercard, because I got to cover a wrestling card at Madison Square Garden. And that was huge. That was a big one. I couldn't care less about WrestleMania. I mean, I watched it at a bar in Manhattan. So I've got to believe that may dissuade a few fans not having that event during WrestleMania weekend.
Phil, you're shaking your head. What are you thinking on that?
All the mixes of things. I mean, for me, wrestling's a job for me, so and we've had some conversation offline about, am I coming? Am I not? And the opportunity maybe to go to WrestleMania. And it's like, as much as I kind of want to, if I'm at a wrestling event not doing something, I get really twitchy. Like, there's that sensation of like, I need to be doing something right now. Why am I not doing something right now? And in pockets, I've had this conversation about all the independent wrestling events that are happening during WrestleMania weekend. What's the spectacular? What's the big event? I mean, and there are spotlights. Don't get me wrong. There are individuals and talents that are going to be appearing, but there used to be like some events that you're like, wow, this is kind of a star-studded who's who of everybody who's not signed right now. And there's not really that singular kind of event either. And I'll be honest, there was that era that you're talking about at Ring of Honor. Like, I kind of lost interest in Ring of Honor for half a second, so that wasn't like my draw. But like, I also see where other independents did draw. And now a lot of them have said they're struggling with their own ticket sales for that weekend too. And so it's a little bit of a diffusion. Like, you have all these events that are running and they're all getting a split of the same kind of crowd, and it's a little bit oversaturation. So there's a little bit of that too. Plus, we've talked about, just the impact of general streaming. Some of the people who've done the 2-day WrestleMania event have said like they burn out a little bit too, because it's like you're spending 2 days locked in I shouldn't say locked, but 2 days in a stadium, surrounded by, thousands of people in uncomfortable seating, and then subject to all the prices of eating inside the stadium too, because that you're in that locked in space for hours. And so it's difficult. I do think there is a value in doing WrestleMania events in cities that have other attractions too. That way you're just not locked into this. You can go do some other stuff. You can, like, I love I had never been to New Orleans before, and I went there for Mania week, and I was like, oh gosh, I got to explore New Orleans. That was really cool. I'd never been. And like, I feel like there should be a way the tourism board of Las Vegas should be like, hey, come to Las Vegas. Look at all these other things that we have to do. And, Las Vegas probably feels like it can ride on its own. Like, oh, people know what Vegas is. People can come to Vegas. They know it's here. Do they? And so it's like, I feel like there needs to be a rider connection between like coming to the Mania experience and exploring Vegas and the surrounding area. And then, oh yeah, one of the reasons I do the indie wrestling calendar is because independent promotions are horrible at their own communications and marketing. and there've been like a week where I've been sick or on my own trips or something, and like didn't do the calendar that week. And I will have promoters message me about like, you didn't do the calendar. I had no way to advertise. Like, what? Do you mean? Yeah, I've directly had that happen.
Wow.
And so like, looking at some of the promotions that are out there, some are better than others. Do not get me wrong, but there are some promotions that like, who are some of these promotions? I know Prestige and West Coast Pro and Deadlock, absolutely got it. I know FSW, got it. But there's some I'm like, okay, well, that's great that you're here. How do people know that you're here? And maybe I'm giving a trade secret away when I say this. When Revolver would come to events, Mania weekend, or how we did Royal Rumble, I didn't celebrate the fact that we're there for Mania week. I sent out my own press. Like, here, here's things. We're here. Here are the talent that we have. Here's their connection to the bigger scheme of the world of wrestling. We're an event. We may have been a part of a chain of a series of events. We're an event. Come to us. I singularly promoted us. And I think there is also a reliance on some of the companies to be like, we're part of this big chain of events, and so we're going to promote the everything, not just the one and the big stuff happening at the one, and it loses some of its direction.
Yeah, and I just wonder if WWE hasn't just put too many things out there. I mean, the roast thing. I mean, do we really need that? Just I don't know. There's a lot of factors, but the last thing that I want to hear is, oh, Las Vegas can't host wrestling, because we can, and it just a lot of things happening that I think are screwing this up right now. But that's just me. But still, please come. We want to have you here. We want to have a great time.
Fine, I'll come.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. And with that, let's take a break. Now we talk the business side of WrestleMania a little bit. Let's actually talk about WrestleMania. Some new matches on the card, but a very interesting fact that we're going to talk about when we return on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM Talk Las Vegas. Bill Stamper, Stu Myrick, Coach Rosey joining me. We'll be right back.
You're pregnant, and no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you can't stop using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. But no matter how lost you are, how far along you are, it's not too late. There's always hope, and there are many safe places that can help you stop using. In Nevada, pregnant women are given the highest priority for substance use treatment. Low-cost treatment options may be available so you and your baby can get healthy now. If you or someone you love is pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant and using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 to find help today. SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org also has resources for healthcare providers, friends, and family. If you want to help someone who's pregnant and using, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 today. Sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
We've all got a thing. Yeah, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-939-1441. That's 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441. Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
We've all got a thing. Yeah, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Hey, let's do another segment of The Mark Hoke Show because we're awesome. We are. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Coach Rosey, hanging out with me right now as we roll on with the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. And by the way, if I didn't scare everybody a little bit about there's a lot of pricing going on, it's not going to be cheap to come out for WrestleMania. Do me a favor, go to the TravelShark.com/Hoke Show, and you will get employee and this hidden prices powered by Priceline. It's a terrific site. There's still some pretty good deals out there right now that you can get rooms for under $100 a night at hotels that do not suck. I promise. There are some that, I might send Coach Rosey to if he's looking for
Circus is 17 a night. You can always get there. And then it's right across from the Fountain Blue. So you can spend $225 for the Hall of Fame and go get bed bugs after the show.
Yeah, there you go. But let's try to avoid the bed bugs. But please check it out at the TravelShark.com/Hoke Show. And, save yourself some money WrestleMania weekend. It'll be good for you, I promise. The TravelShark.com/Hoke Show. We're going to dive into WrestleMania a little bit, guys. I'm sure we'll carry this over to the next hour. We still don't have that many matches officially on the card at this point, but we do know that our good friend CM Punk is going to finally get to main event, at least on night one, along with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. He was pretty emotional about it, sitting there with Paul Heyman. Of course, he said to MJF a couple of years ago, if you remember that infamous clip, that, you'd be main eventing day 4, and while I'm still here. Well, I guess he probably changed his tune a little bit. But your thoughts, guys, on that match being the main event, and ironically, neither of the Royal Rumble winners are main eventing WrestleMania. How about that, Stu Myrick?
That was an interesting little twist. Look, I love that moment, and you could see the emotion in Paul Heyman's face as well. You could tell he was proud as well. So I'm happy for CM Punk, happy for Paul Heyman, but they've got to stop. They got to stop touting the Royal Rumble winner main eventing. They can say they get a world title shot, but stop using that whole, that line about main eventing, because, like you said, Gunther, Jey Uso, it would not shock me if that is the first match.
Probably opener. I think it'll be opener day 1.
Opener. You got Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton. That could probably be an opener. So have, Charlotte and Tiffany on night 2 and open night 2, and Gunther and Jey Uso open night 1. They've done that before. The triple threat, and I'll be honest, it feels a little like Wrestle Kingdom. You know how New Japan loves to load the Wrestle Kingdom show with multi-person matches. Feels like that's kind of the direction we're going with WrestleMania. Because the 5 matches that are booked so far, you only have the triple threat, but it feels like they're pushing towards a few more. And again, it's kind of, you wonder if it's Triple H or if it's Gato that's booking it.
Well, Phil, let me expand on that point that Stu talked about. I think that this triple threat is happening because they weren't sure really what to do with CM Punk after they had Uso win the Royal Rumble. And, it just seems like, it's not necessarily totally thrown together, and I'm sure there was a plan, but I don't know, man. I'm excited about the match. I think it's going to be awesome, but it's just kind of strange.
So last night after I went to watch an event, which again, when I talked about being twitchy and not doing anything at a wrestling event, oh my God. But after that event, went out to eat with a friend and we were talking about stuff, and he was like, "What do you think about WrestleMania?" Which totally threw me off that he would ask. And he's like, he was on a car trip before then, and he's like, "I think I have 14 matches that there's going to be between the 2 nights." And I was like, okay. So I think he feels like there's a pretty good route of stuff, but he's like, "What do you think about CM Punk being in the main event over Uso and Gunther?" And I'm like, well, one, the fan response wasn't great. And he was like, "Yeah, I see that too. Tickets weren't that hot." I think there's a way to continue to build Jey Uso that I think maybe SummerSlam, there could be something bigger that could happen. I'm not really looking forward to this. Plus, they had just done it. There's a whole lot of reasons why, I think it's not doing as well as maybe people wanted. I feel probably when CM Punk re-signed that there was a rider condition somewhere that within 3 years you'll be the main event of one of the Mania. That's how this feels. It worked out. Why Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns? Couldn't you have spread that out? I feel like Paul Heyman's the most interesting part of this whole story.
CM Punk is fighting over something again. He's not fighting to win a match. He's fighting for, first a bracelet and now Paul Heyman.
Right. So now it's Paul Heyman's the linchpin to all of this and the mastermind to all of this. I'm like, I can dig that. I can get behind the Paul Heyman as the stipulation.
Paul
Heyman in a shark cage.
Winner takes Paul Heyman home.
Hey,
Coach.
Forklift.
Yeah. Coachy's sticking around?
Yeah, I'll be around for a little bit after. And
all right.
I think Seth is going to team with Roman, and they're going to jump CM Punk. That's my pick.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm quite okay with that. All right, guys. We're going to take our break and wrap the first hour up and come back for hour number 2 in just a little bit here on the Mark Hoke Show. Just a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world of pro wrestling. We'll continue to talk about WrestleMania. We got AEW Dynasty coming up in a week. That's going to be fun. some new members of the Hall of Fame, and a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll have Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Coach Rosey along for the ride with me. Certainly appreciate you being with us. We'll be right back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Dollar Loan Center. Dollar Loan Center. Dollar Loan Center.
Hey, Chuck, what does it cost to apply for a signature loan at DLC?
It's 100% free to apply for a loan. There's no application fees, no doc fees, no origination fees, no fee fees, nothing. Not even prepayment fees. On top of paying back your principal, of course, the only thing we charge is interest at Dollar Loan Center, and only exactly for how long you keep the loan out.
Even if I apply just to see how much I qualify for?
Exactly, and we encourage that. Your interest accrues daily instead of compounding weekly, so it gives you the freedom to control your own payoff date.
Thanks, Chuck. Dollar Loan Center has over 60 locations, or you can go to don'tbebroke.com and get fully funded from the comfort of your smartphone. New customers enjoy 1 week free interest, and you can get up to $5,000 in minutes.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
KMXB HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
Iran rejects President Trump's offer of nuke talks. On Jack Callahan, Fox News, Iran's president says they reject the idea of direct talks with the U.S. in response to the letter from President Trump about Iran's advancing nuclear program. Iran's president confirming that while direct negotiations are off the table, the door remains open for indirect talks. It's unclear whether the president would agree to indirect negotiations, as previous attempts have failed since he withdrew the U.S. from the 2015 nuclear deal with Iran back in 2018. With Iran enriching uranium to near weapons-grade levels, tensions are high, fueling fears of a military conflict. Both the U.S. and Israel continue to warn against a nuclear-armed Iran. Situation is still critical. More October 7th hostages could be free soon, part of a proposed Gaza ceasefire deal. Fox's Janalee Painter reports.
Hamas is agreeing to a new Egyptian proposal to release 5 hostages in exchange for a renewed ceasefire. It's similar to the one presented by the U.S. several weeks ago. Hamas expects the return to phase 1 conditions, including humanitarian aid and an agreement to negotiate a second phase. Israel responded with a counteroffer. Earlier this month, Israel broke the ceasefire, demanding Hamas free its remaining 59 hostages.
The Gaza Health Ministry, run by Hamas, says Israel's military strikes inside Gaza yesterday killed at least 20 people. A woman and 2 of her children killed by a driver in New York City.
Police say a 32-year-old woman with a suspended license was driving an Audi that crashed into 4 family members. They're investigating whether she ran a red light and whether speed was a factor. They're also doing a preliminary breath test for possible intoxication. The 35-year-old female victim and her 6 and 8-year-old daughters were pronounced dead at the scene. The woman's third child, a 4-year-old boy, is in critical condition. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
You never hear me call myself a journalist. I'm not. I'm not a journalist. And a talk show host has opinions, and I do have an opinion. I'm an opinion journalist. I don't hide and say I'm object. I'm not.
Sean Hannity, weekdays at noon on 1015 KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And let's do this one more time. Hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. Hopefully all the team is well lubricated and ready to roll here. That's what we bring you the best in pro wrestling on KDAWN, and of course on the Odyssey app. Download that right now, AUDACY, and you will bring joy and happiness to your family and even the pets. So make sure you get that app right now, AUDACY. We're also live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. I want to thank all of you that are joining us on all the different platforms. Certainly happy to have you with us. And of course, I've got the usual crew of crazies. God, I love these guys so much. I really do, honestly. Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver at Trust and Phil. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling at Stu Myrick. And from Ad Free Shows, the hobbled one, Real Coach Rosey. Coach Rosey. What's up? What's up, guys? How are we doing today?
It's Sunday.
It is Sunday.
It is Sunday.
I don't know
Sunday.
how to read that.
It's match day. Austin FC taking on, I think, St. Louis.
Elite 8.
Elite 8, you're right.
Women's
By
Elite 8 as well. Texas.
Right.
There you
Texas
go, Stu. The ladies won yesterday. They're in the Elite 8. They're playing TCU. Is that going to be a rivalry in your neck of the woods?
Not really. Texas TCU never been much. I mean, it's a rivalry in the fact that, they've been in the same conference, go back to the Southwest Conference. But it's not, we're not talking the Aggies, not talking the bleeping Sooners. So, it's TCU, it's Texas. It'll be a good game. I really do. I really think so. And hopefully the Longhorns make it to the Final Four.
Were you able to check out the UFL yesterday? Wasn't that in Dallas?
What?
I'm in Austin, so
Oh,
no.
Austin. I mean, yeah, it's not that close.
Now I've been to Choctaw Stadium, which used to be Globe Life Park when the Rangers were playing there. Now it's a football stadium. Actually, the Arlington high schools use it for their high school games because when I was still doing radio, we had the team that we cover here in Austin, Lake Travis, Baker Mayfield's alma mater, had a game there against one of the Arlington schools. So I saw a little bit of it on Fox, and it was it was fine. I'm still trying to get used to spring football when it's if it's not the combine or the draft.
All I know is baseball season's here, and the Orioles are beating up those evil Canadians up there. So I'm enjoying that. But
we love Canada. Canada is not evil.
I know. By the way, real fast, did you guys see the Yankees new bat design that they bashed 9 home runs with? That they changed the look of the barrel?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you got to look that up. Some guy I think from MIT redesigned the baseball bats so it moved more of the wood down towards the center of the bat where you're making more contact. They used them yesterday and the ball just went flying out of the park. It was ridiculous. So take a look at that. It's pretty fascinating.
Having girth in your wood is very important.
Absolutely. Girth more important than length.
Yes.
I don't know about that. But
They're called the torpedo bats.
yes, they're amazing. I don't know if they're going to stay legal, but they're pretty cool.
Damn.
Even though I hate the Yankees, I got to give them credit. They may have pulled something off there. All right, well, let's get back into the pro wrestling stuff. And a lot of matches not settled for WrestleMania. I have one I'm going to throw out there, and then we're going to talk about some people that are not attached in a match yet. But we had this, and I don't even know if you can consider it a controversy, with WWE doing the El Grande Americano gimmick with Chad Gable.
It is?
He is a luchador. Yeah. Oh, wait, is it not Chad Gable? Is it not? It's Chad
Blew me
Gable.
away with that. Blew me away.
Well, yeah, just take a little time and think about it. But they put out what I thought was a hilarious piece explaining the background of El Grande Americano. And a lot of people flipped out about that. I mean, just, your usual social media warriors. But Stu, I'll give you this one and keep it real short. Were you offended by El Grande Americano and his piece?
I was not offended, but I can see how it would be.
Okay. Phil, what did you think? Did you think this was a slam to the lucha? You didn't see it? Oh, okay. You guys got to watch that.
But I'm totally going to try to find it now.
It is something else, but but some people did take offense to it, saying it was slamming luchadors and insulting them. It's part of a kind of a funny story, and I wish people would just take it that way, because Chad's going to probably get his comeuppance at WrestleMania, maybe. But I have a suggestion for the luchador that Chad Gable should take on at WrestleMania. Coach, are you ready for this? Here's my guy. Are you ready?
Okay.
El Generico.
Whoa, man.
Should be the opponent for El Grande Americano. And I'm going to tell you why. Remember, Chad did some nasty things to Sami Zayn a while back.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We can't forget that. To bring back El Generico and with Sammy laying low, he's been very quiet. They haven't done anything with him. I think it's time for El Generico to come back and take on El Grande Americano. What do you think, Coach?
Dude, that'd be awesome. And it would make it more of a gimmick match. So there can be some comedy interjected into it. And Sami Zayn, he's good at the comedy stuff. I'm tired of him doing these extreme matches, these death, all that gore and all that. He's a funny guy. And this would be some good comic relief in the middle of what could be more of a wrestling-laden show.
Stu, you like the idea of El Generico?
Love it. Do it. Now, look, it's probably going to be Ray Phoenix because he's about to debut for SmackDown. But I would love that. That would be a reason to make it to Vegas just to see El Generico. Now, got to see if Ring of Honor owns the trademark. I don't know. I don't know what the standing on that is, but it would be fantastic to have El Generico come out and I would say and have him beat El Grande Americano. Just and you're right, Coach Rosey. It'd be just to have some fun in this card.
Yeah, because they're not a lot of fun. And Phil, are you liking the idea of El Generico versus El Grande Americano?
So one, I do. Two, I just watched the video. I'm like, from a wrestling, totally just singular wrestling perspective, I laughed. Like I'm chuckling the whole time. From a, oh my gosh, let's talk about the bigger political landscape and concept. Like, I understand. I get why some people might be like, okay. All of it together right now. I'm like, I don't know. Part of me is like, that's just what I needed. I just needed that.
I think that would be a lot of fun. I don't know if it'll happen or not. I'm not sure who the luchador that Chad's going to take on is, but Chad's done such a great job with this, and
allegedly, Chad.
I've met Chad. I mean, he'll forgive me as long as he doesn't sick Otis on me or something like that. I don't know. I don't know which one I'd rather face off with. I think I could survive Otis longer than I could survive Chad. To be honest with you.
What if it's the Patriot?
The Patriot.
Oh, good God!
Del Wilson's dead, and no one else has rights to the gimmick.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Who'd be really fun would be the Midnight Rider.
Okay, but who would play the Midnight Rider?
Otis could play the Midnight Rider.
Oh, I love that. Actually, I was gonna be like, oh, Mark Briscoe. But I like the idea.
Look, Midnight Rider. I know he's got the main event night too, but if you're on Midnight Rider, it's got to be Cody underneath.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's got to be in the family.
Yeah, absolutely. See, this is part of the fun of WrestleMania. At least we can come up with all this seriousness around it. We can have a little fun with it. But one thing that I think is interesting that, of course, Chad doesn't have an opponent, but just to give you a rundown of some of the people that don't have matches yet. LA Knight, your U.S. champ, Ron Breakker, Intercontinental champion, Chelsea Green, Women's U.S. champ, Lyra Valkyria, Women's Intercontinental champion, both tag team champions, Judgment Day, women's tag titles. We don't have a match yet. This is starting to feel like a Tony Khan throw it together at the last minute booking. That's a lot of champions and important people. And, the Jacob Fatu thing and Braun Strowman still hasn't been settled yet. So, man, this is going to be thrown together pretty quick, Phil.
I think all the seeds are there. I think now you just got to rein it all in and put it together.
Some of the seeds are there. Some are not.
You're probably going to get the triple threat with Braun, Fatu, and LA Knight for the U.S. title. Because again, this, it's starting to feel like it's Gato in charge. I think we're going to get a triple threat there just because that seems to be the deal. The IC title, I have no clue who's going to face Braun Breaker. It's got to be. I mean, I guess it doesn't, but it should be defended at WrestleMania. But who's going to be the one?
You can't leave him off.
No, you can't.
My God, could you imagine that? What a terrible decision that would be to leave him off. But go ahead.
You got Jade and Naomi too. That's going to be announced at some point. We'll find out.
Yeah, it's still a lot of matches to go, but and Coach Rosey, you brought up Naomi, who is knocking this out of the park so far. I think I said it a while back. She needed to do something different to get some attention and move her up the card. I'm hoping that they don't just sacrifice her to Jade Cargill, but Naomi's work as a heel, she said, if I do this, I'm doing it right. And she's doing it right so far. Wouldn't you say so, Phil?
I'd agree. I'd absolutely agree to that.
And Stu, you hate heel turns that are unnecessary, but do you like this one now? Are you okay?
This one's good. And it's not that I don't hate heel turns. I hate them when you do it just because you got nothing else going for them. I mean, there needs to be a purpose, and this one has a purpose. Definitely Jade Naomi. That's going to be a match. I could easily see, who's Io Sky defending the women's world title against both Rhea and Bianca.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, where's Logan?
I'll reserve comment. Actually, I think
comment. You know he should be on the card.
He should be. I get the feeling it'll be him and AJ Styles. Please, for the love of God, don't put him over AJ. No. I'm not a fan of either Paul. This Paul American show that's going to be on Max, I couldn't care less. But I think Logan Paul, it'll be Logan Paul, AJ Styles. But yeah, I like what Naomi's doing. I think it feeds into the story, and it'll be fun to see her and Jade. And you know what? I'm okay with Naomi going over in some sort of like dastardly manner, foot on the ropes or whatever, just do something because that's a feud I think they could carry on past WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I don't want to see Naomi make this change and then get buried right off the bat. That's the one thing that I'm concerned about a little bit here is that, do you slay the golden goose for a night or not? How do you handle that? So
who's the golden goose though?
Jade Cargill is your golden goose. You would
and is
think.
There going to be any NXT stars that are going to get a match on the card?
I don't know.
No, because they got their own special to do. Because they got the standing on Saturday. So now, if they were going to do the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I could see putting somebody from NXT in that'll probably be on SmackDown. So no, I don't think you have.
I have Mark Hoke going over in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
There you go, over the top rope in about 10 seconds. I'll be diving to go over the top rope before I get killed by somebody out there. Well, I'll take a bump.
Like McAfee did on that Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
just jump over.
Just clear the house. It's
Head over to catering.
That's about where I belong. That's for sure. I think Phil Stamper should be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Let's go.
Wouldn't that be a dream for you, Phil, to do something like that?
Oh my! I mean, just to wrestle in a match for the WWE in general, yes, would absolutely be. To be in something like that would be amazing. Just really cool. Actually, so I haven't told him, but I'm with my struggles with my knee, I'm rehabbing it, and it looks like I am going to be doing a Royal Rumble style match in a couple of weeks. So
nice.
Where?
Well, good to have.
At a company called SPO on Sunday, April 27th in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
All right.
Good for you, Phil. Good for you. Welcome back.
Now, if it shambles into like glass, we'll have a conversation then the next week.
Phil Stamper goes right into a death match after knee rehab. That would be absolutely fantastic.
And almost on target for things that have happened in my life.
Oh my God. We are having too much fun here on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, and Josh Rosenbaum, otherwise known as Coach Rosey from Ad Free Shows, joining us here today. And I do want to take a second to remind everybody about our good friends at betonline.ag. You can bet on if Phil can survive a battle royal. I think he can. I think he'll make it. He'll be all right. But if you go to the Mark Hoke Show, go to markhokeshow.com and click on the betonline.ag banner, you can get a sign-up bonus of up to $500. So you put in 1,000, you get 500. It's 50% signing bonus, and you can bet on wrestling on there, guys. And some of the odds are up right now. Maybe if we have a second, we'll take a look at it. But it is really cool if you want to throw a couple bucks down and have a little fun. But of course, you can bet on all sorts of sports and entertainment things on betonline.ag. Please check it out. Just go to markhokeshow.com, sign there to sign up first, and then have a great time on betonline.ag. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we can talk about WrestleMania, but we've also got AEW Dynasty coming up. Got some new members of the Hall of Fame, and Swerve Strickland and AJ Francis were having a little fun this week too. They were in the same building. I should have just pulled them aside and let them have at each other. It would have been fun. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling. We'll be right back.
Love your smile again with 4M.
Are you missing multiple teeth? Do you have loose teeth, bleeding gums, or pain when you bite? I know how difficult that can be. If you cover your mouth when you talk or avoid photos because of your smile, I can help. No matter how bad your teeth are, we can give you permanent, natural-looking teeth in just 24 hours. I'm Dr. Sean, founder of 4M Dental Implant Centers. With 4M Smile in 24, you get strong, permanent teeth, custom designed just for you. We've performed over 20,000 implant surgeries, helping thousands in Las Vegas smile again. Our in-house lab makes your new smile faster, more precise, and more affordable. Your dental implants come with a lifetime warranty. And with financing options as low as $159 a month or 24 months interest-free, now is the time to take the first step. Call 800-4M-DENTAL or visit us at 4mdentalimplants.com.
Your smile again with 4M.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful. Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hear that? It's SpringFest savings calling your name. Only at Lowe's. Right now, get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a Select Ego trimmer, blower, or mower. Plus, get your choice of any 2 bags of Miracle Grow organic soil mix for only $16. Shop these can't-miss deals in-store or online today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Excludes Hawaii.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336, 800-444-9336, or biglou.com.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
I did the silent pause that everybody hates. Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show. As we continue through hour number 2 with Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver at Trust in Phil on X, Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRICK, and from ad-free shows, Josh Rosenbaum, Coach Rosey at Real Coach Rosey. And of course, you can follow me at Mark Hoke Show. Makes it pretty simple. I like it simple. That's the way to do things. All right, guys. Before we dive into AEW, there's a couple little small things I wanted to mention. First, we have a new induction into the WWE Hall of Fame that was added this week of the natural disasters. John Tenta and Fred Ottman are going into the WWE Hall of Fame. So congratulations to them as they will be doing their thing. I want to congratulate one of our West Coasters and a longtime wrestler here for FSW, Viva Van, who is now officially a member of AEW. She's wrestling in Ring of Honor now. She did a lot of different matches for them for quite a while, but I'm very happy to see her. And she's awesome, guys. So if you haven't gotten to see too much of Eva Van, brace yourself because she's pretty amazing. Yeah, she's something. And Coach Rosey, I know you wanted to make sure we get this brought up. Longtime announcer for World Class Championship Wrestling, Bill Mercer, passed away at the age of 99. And just one of the most memorable voices and people and wrestling personalities out there. So we unfortunately had to say goodbye to Bill Mercer. And I'm sure you guys all know and remember Bill well.
Absolutely. Bill Mercer, like you said, long-time voice of world-class championship wrestling. But beyond that, he was the first radio voice for the Dallas Cowboys. He was the first radio voice for the Texas Rangers. He called the Ice Bowl for CBS Radio back in the early 70s. He was on site. He was a reporter for KRLD, I believe, during the JFK assassination. He's the one that told Lee Harvey Oswald that he was going to get charged with the assassination.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Bill Mercer was long time. He called games for what was then North Texas State University, now University of North Texas. He was a professor there, taught. Some of his students are some of the giants in broadcasting, especially here in the state of Texas. Craig Way, a dear friend of mine, the longtime radio voice for the Texas Longhorns. He was one of Mr. Mercer's students. I actually got to meet Mr. Mercer several occasions. He would come down. So he and Mike Capps, who was the former radio voice for the Round Rock Express, AAA affiliate for the Rangers, he would come down and he and Mike would call the Express games here in Round Rock, which is just, suburb of Austin. And Mr. Mercer was kind enough to give me an interview a couple times. Just a fantastic, fantastic gentleman. He told me one time. So if you think back, one of the signature matches of World Class was Kerry Von Erich, Ric Flair for the world title at Texas Stadium. If you remember, it was Mark Lawrence that called that match. And if you want to know why, I asked Mr. Mercer why that was. He had the day off. So that's what it was. So,
wow.
Yeah. But
that's crazy.
Mr. Mercer, a legendary figure. He was inducted to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame a few years ago. Of course, part of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. And it was a huge hit even at 99. I actually heard it from Brad Sham, who's the current radio voice of the Dallas Cowboys. And so prayers to his family, his friends. Bill Mercer, a legend, belongs in every Hall of Fame.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
Do you have a catchphrase?
No, not really. He didn't. Because he came when he did wrestling, he was coming out of news and sports broadcasting. He didn't really have a catchphrase. It was, he always called it the world famous Sportatorium at the corner of Industrial and Katie's, which Katie's is now, I think, Riverside in Dallas. But he didn't really have a catchphrase. It was just, he did it. He called it like he would call, Cowboys games or North Texas games.
Yeah. So saying goodbye to Bill Mercer. Well, we let's slide over to a new topic with AEW Dynasty coming up here on Sunday, and I'm sure we'll get into predictions and stuff next Sunday, the day of the card, because there's still a lot of matches to come. But one thing happened in AEW yesterday that, are we finally going to get a feud for Mercedes Moné that everybody cares about as Athena? Of course, for those of you that are WWE fans, used to be Ember Moon, but she has been a long time and the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Well, they finally brought her up, and boy, did they ever. And it looks like, guys, we're going to get Athena and Mercedes. I can't wait for this one. I'm finally excited about her Mercedes Moné match. As Phil takes a gulp, what do you think, Phil? Or it's about time, isn't it?
I think it is. I'm excited because if there's somebody to dethrone Mercedes Moné, it is the forever champion Athena.
Yep, agreed.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I took a sip and I failed. Stu, what do you
You're
think?
trying to make fun of me taking a sip. That's your own karma, sir.
I couldn't agree more. Now if I were a betting man, something tells me this will be safe for All In, just because it's in Arlington. Athena's from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She's from Dallas, actually, and still lives in Dallas. So it would not shock me if this is safe for All In, but absolutely, I think this is, and you're right. Finally, a match involving Mercedes Moné that I could care about, because I've been a critic for quite some time. You want to put all these titles on her, fine, but these matches that she's had, it's like, okay, why are you telegraphing that she's not going to lose?
Yeah, I mean, the Harley Cameron match was fun, but I think we all still felt like Mercedes was going to go over. But her and Athena, oh man, that is going to rock. And we head into AEW Dynasty. Shockingly, only 6 matches listed on the card at this point, but there'll be about 7 more before we get to Sunday. But this is going to be a lot of fun, guys. And Kenny Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball Mike Bailey. And by the way, congratulations to Ricochet on his nuptials. I feel bad because I didn't know he was getting married last week, or I would have said something like, a week or 2 ago. But that should be.
You were there.
No, I didn't get an invite to that. Come on, man.
It must have got lost in the mail.
Yeah, probably did. Mox and Swerve for the World Championship. Tony Storm and Megan Bayne is just being built up as this monster. She's been killing Tony. It's been getting ugly. I won't say what Tony said she was going to do to her because I can't on the radio. We got a trios title match with the Death Riders against Rated FTR, which looks like there's going to be an implosion there. And Chris Jericho title versus Mask with Bandito for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And Daniel Garcia will defend the TNT title finally against Adam Cole.
Baby.
Thank you. This is looking pretty good. I mean, honestly, if these are the 6 matches on the card, I'd be satisfied.
Yeah, I would too, because you go to an AEW show and I love them, but you come out losing some years of your life with the fatigue. It's like 6 hours, with the pre-show and everything. So yeah, make it 3 hours. Let's get 6 good quality matches and get over to dinner afterwards.
Stu, how are you feeling about this AEW Dynasty card next week?
I agree with Coach Rosey. I mean, if they kept it 6 matches, that'd be fantastic. They won't. There'll be at least 6 more added, plus the pre-show. The trios match, it's like, really, we're going to break up another longtime tag team. And I guess it might make it more interesting. It won't to me, because I like seeing FTR together. I think they're a fantastic tag team. So it's like, okay, so we're telegraphing that, titles won't change that. And I've been saying for a while, we need the Death Riders to lose all their titles and break up.
That hatred never goes.
It's not hatred. I'm just bored with it. It's
I understand.
Boredom. I think the Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball match, I think that'll be a lot of fun to watch. It'll be interesting to see, what they can put together. I'm really looking forward to that. I get they're making Megan Bayne look like a monster, yet I don't think it's time yet to take the title off of Tony.
Yeah, she just got it back.
Yeah. So the Daniel Garcia Adam Cole match, I get the sense Adam Cole may win, but I could see that going either way. So this looks like an intriguing card. I'd be interested to see how they build it up this week with Dynamite coming up on Wednesday, and then of course Collision next Saturday. It'll be interesting to see what else gets built on this show. The Chris Jericho Bandito match, it would not shock me if they do a title change there, but I don't think they will.
I think they're gonna. Phil, should there be a title change at the top? Is the big question. Is it time to get this belt back on Swerve?
I mean, I would love it. I would personally love it. Stu was definitely agreeing with me on that one. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. Let's do it.
Yeah, look, Swerve is just doing such incredible work, and you kind of got the feeling on that promo that Mox did that they were looking to get everybody else in AEW to up their game. The Death Riders were, and now Mox is kind of talking to Swerve like, "Look, I think you're the guy. Can you do it?" And Swerve is just
Was
been
that your
absolutely
Moxley
phenomenal.
impression? I want to rewind this one. First.
No, that's not my Moxley impression.
I think you
didn't
can
try
do
it. But I think it's time to. I think putting it on Swerve would be fantastic. I just want to make sure he keeps it for a while. I'd hate to see him lose it all in again. But it is time for Swerve to take charge of this company again and be the front man. I don't think there's any question about it.
Agreed. I don't think it's going to happen. I would love for it to happen. I would love for Mox to lose that title, but I don't know. Something tells me they're going to hold on till All In.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if FTR is going to get broken up necessarily. I think they're going to end up turning on Cope. Because what we're hearing is that they're going to put him and Christian back together for this. So I don't know.
But how that? Okay, so then they got to start mapping out Christian turning babyface.
Yeah.
I mean, which I guess they could. They've kind of split Nick Wayne and Mama Wayne away from him. So I don't know.
Yeah, and hopefully Luchasaurus is going to be back soon. Can't wait. I heard he was backstage, but what a phenomenal comeback for him from that double pneumonia that nearly killed him. So pretty exciting there. And while we're talking about Swerve, guys, Swerve had a few things to say about his tenure in WWE and the treatment of African-American wrestlers in WWE. And Booker T made some comments. Yeah, I was okay. But Swerve kind of said, I don't know about that. Do you feel like Swerve's got a case on this that, because certainly him getting let go is crazy. What happened with Hit Row was just a mess. And of course he threw AJ Francis indirectly under the bus. But is there a problem in WWE with that, Coach? Do you think that the black wrestlers aren't getting the push they deserve?
Without being backstage and knowing what's going on, all you can do is just judge the aesthetics of it. That's a tough question because whichever side you take, you're going to get scrutinized on with the optics of it. I'd have to say, in the history of WWE, there has been far less champions of color than there has been in other organizations. I don't know if that was a malicious move or not by Vince, but that's just the history of the title.
Now, a lot of intercontinental titles, U.S. titles, not a ton of world champions. And Stu, what do you think about what Swerve had to say?
It was interesting. Look, I think that the previous regime, there may have been something. And again, I kind of like what Coach Rosey said, not backstage, so I can't. I'm not gonna speak on it too much, but Swerve certainly within his right to say what he said, and there have been moments where it's kind of like, okay, is this because of the color of the skin, or is there something else going on? It would not be too surprising if maybe there was a little bit of something. But again, this would be the previous regime,
right? And then Phil, Swerve kind of throwing AJ Francis under the bus a little bit, saying he was the reason that everybody got canned, as he, without saying names, said when BFAB got fired that someone kind of stepped up and got a little aggressive, and it ended up ruining everything for everybody. So Now, not only that, we get Swerve against AJ Francis on this. I mean, that's kind of a mess.
I mean, at the same note, is he wrong? I wasn't for that part. I wasn't there. I didn't see, what was said, and that shouldn't. I always hate when here you have a tag team, and one person in the tag team does something wrong. Both members have to eat the crow, and it's like that one person did it. Because what I've also seen too often of times is the wrong person in the crew takes the heat for what one person in the crew did. And so I feel like we've even talked on the show that even during the current regime, there have been times by the groupings and associations and the way they form stables in the WWE, it's like, this seems a little ethnic based. And so it's a little hard to say, like, well, we weren't there and it was the previous regime. And it's like, no, during the Triple H era, there have been some groups that, like, why are they together? Tell me more why these people should be together.
Well, it brings up an interesting topic, and I'll come back to it because we do have to get to break. But what is that a good thing to group people ethnically or not in pro wrestling? And we can wrap it up on that. But I do have to make sure I mention my good friends at offgridcreations.com. And of course, if you need anything done with advertising, with embroidery, screen printing, you can put your logo on anything. My good friend Mike Franco will do a full brand consultation with you and help you out. And he just does amazing work. You can see the sign right over my shoulder, this beautiful shirt. We'll get some more made up for you guys when you come out. But you can check them out at off-gridcreations.com. Give them a call, 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Once again, 661-300-1115. And Off-Grid Creations will take great care of you. I promise. Head over to the website, off-gridcreations.com. All right, let's take a break. And, that's what we're going to talk about when we come back. Is all this craziness with the discussion of race and Swerve Strickland and AJ Francis. Is it the right direction, wrong direction? We'll give everybody a shot at it when we return here on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. With integrity, experience, and authenticity, we're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Unsafe sleep conditions cause serious injury and even death to infants. Never sleep with your baby on a sofa, in a chair, or in an adult bed. Protect the baby you love from becoming a tragic statistic. The only safe place for your baby to sleep is alone, on its back, in a crib, and in your room. For more information, visit cribsforkids.org. That's cribsforkids.org. This message is sponsored by the Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
We've all got a thing. Yeah, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
We've all got a thing. Yeah, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
At Odyssey, we believe in creating a diverse and inclusive workforce. We also value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be notified of all our open positions. That's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for all our listeners, please visit odysseyinc.com/careers for a list of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right. What's going on, Las Vegas? Let's finish this thing up. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Josh Rosenbaum, Coach Rosey with his foot up. Coach, is your foot up?
Yeah, it's you can see it right here.
Oh, geez. That is a long cast. Yikes.
Yeah.
God, what did you do by the
games on that toe, and now it's a new joint, new big toe joint. They got so much in science and technology. It's like getting a knee replacement for your big toe.
Well, maybe you should start doing wrestling instead of basketball.
Well, I'd love to, but I don't want to travel the roads. I'm a little too old for that.
Fair enough.
Leave that up to Phil. How many miles on a long week do you get? Could it be 3,000 miles?
It can be, depending on the trip. I mean, put it this way: the car that I have that's 2.5 years old is at 115,000 miles.
Wow. Man. Wow. Maybe you should consider rental. Just a thought.
Who wants to spend that money?
Well, you're going to be spending money on a new car pretty soon if you keep it up.
Yeah. If I can
just
afford
saying.
that.
Yeah. So maybe a rental might be an idea there. But let's get back to that topic we were talking about having stables of wrestlers that are all ethnically the same. Phil, you brought it up. What do you think they shouldn't do that? I mean, is it a good thing because it kind of gives everybody a little representation? And, what do you think?
So in the 1960s, there was a show called Star Trek, and they had this thing from Vulcan IDIC, which was infinite diversity and infinite combinations. So of course, it makes sense that you would have some groups that are grouped together by ethnicity, because that's an association, that's an affinity. But when you have a good number of your group seemingly to be only set with one ethnic group that makes up the entirety of what that organization is or that grouping is, well, that's not diversity anymore. Like you sort of counter-diversed yourself. And so I think there was a place for it. Absolutely, there's a place for it. But how does it work through? And I'm actually now reading through AJ Francis's response to Strickland's comments about where he thought he was coming from. And he feels that Strickland repeated something he knew was false because there was some, I don't want to say the language that AJ Francis used.
He was blunt, as he is.
He heard what he heard. And so he knows what he heard, and that's how you want to take it. but that he never thought he was being aggressive or disrespectful. He never heard anybody say that. That's how they got rehired, is what he thought. He thought that was his opinion. He's like, me and Strick aren't there, but look who they rehired after us too. So he feels he didn't step out of place and step out of line in his specific situation. So I think there are groups that based on ethnicity, I think work. But when you start, a lot of your groups are like that it does feel weird to me. I went through a phase in my wrestling life where I was like, okay, there are a lot of faces that look like me. And the only time I see anybody of any skin colors when they're facing each other. Well, this is weird. But then I've also heard people of color say, I wish I was facing off people who looked like me too. And they weren't. And I was like, well, this is weird, because now the only time I feel I was seeing it was happening against each other. And it's like, so sometimes I think when we talk diversity, it's the intermixing. It isn't just here's an image and you're done and here's the one thing. It is all representation. And so, yes, it makes sense to have some ethnic groups, but also some, why aren't you diversifying who are in some of these groups?
Stu, what do you think of that?
Oh, I think it's a matter of, yes, it's okay to have certain groups together because of their ethnicity. I think it comes down to how successful they can be, how well you book them, how well you do. If you're doing it just, if they're just going to be,
a sales gimmick almost.
Yeah. It can't be that. It's got to be. There's got to be a purpose to it. There's got to be. It's hard to say. It really is.
Well, you don't want to just say, well, let's put 4 Hispanic guys together just because we need Hispanic guys. Yeah. And just because we want to, okay, we need to appeal to a Hispanic audience, so we're going to make a Hispanic stable, but not do anything smart with it. And it's just there to be there. And that's not the way to do it.
No,
it's not the way to do it.
It's not. It's, have them, book them smartly. It's also okay to mix them up. Just give everybody the opportunity, no matter what they look like.
Exactly. That's the way to say it, Coach. Yeah, it's been a trope in wrestling for a long time, and sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. We can't hear Coach, unfortunately. Not sure how he lost his sound.
Well, that's my fault. I was just saying one of my guilty pleasures was the Mexicools. So I understand how it was back then, and it's not the way the world is today. So a lot of the things that they got away with in the past couldn't happen today. You really want wrestling to model society, and there's so many interracial groupings of people now that you can do a whole lot of things that you probably would have been frowned upon back in the past, because it was so stereotyped.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion, and I'm sure we'll see more of it both ways as we roll on. But very excited to wrap up today's show. Phil Stamper, appreciate you joining us. Of course, that great independent calendar that you put together. Make sure you go on Trust and Phil, check that out. Great stuff on ad-free shows with Coach Rosey, and of course, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Stu Myrick. I'm sure you'll be buried here with everything that's going on over this weekend. So make sure you check his show out, and it is on the Odyssey app, so you can download that and listen to Stu.
It is.
Yeah. Well, what a sultry tone you just gave, Stu. That was beautiful.
Well, I try every once in a while.
All right, guys. That's going to be it for today. Would appreciate it if you would follow us on Twitter on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook The Mark Hoke Show, subscribe on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and really thank you all for listening to us and supporting the show. We greatly appreciate it. So check out all our old shows, especially on YouTube. They're all up there. Check it out and listen to these guys and so many other great guests we've had as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania here in Las Vegas. That's going to do it, guys. We'll have a great day, Las Vegas. We'll see you next time on the Mark Hoke Show. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.